Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. The dream is dead. It feels like the dream is dead. We have another KC in the house tonight for the post-game show. Let's rock and roll. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. This is the part of the show where I go, I'm joined from my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell. I'm joined by my podcast son from another mother, Mr. Kyle Campbell. Bosh. Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
I'm sure you're all good. You're a City fan. I can't believe this has happened. The one show I said, right, I'm going to do a show with Kyle, and the first show we pick is Man City versus Arsenal. And you've just come back from training. Kyle, welcome to the show. This is your debut on the Highbury Squad. I have a feeling that you might have some mega star sub appearances next season.
Yeah.
Tell everyone a little bit about yourself first. And of course, I think they know that you're Kev's son, but tell them where you're playing, what you're doing, Kyle.
So obviously, I play football for a semi-professional team in Wigan. And I'm doing well. I'm working hard, trying to make it as a professional footballer. And yes, obviously support Man City and just love football, live and breathe it. Can't get any more than that.
Literally. So Kyle, you and Ty were in the City youth system, right? So you played with Foden, and talk to me a little bit about that before we get into the brutality of what happened tonight.
Yeah, well, to be fair, my older one, Ty, he played with like Foden and that. But obviously, I saw them training, stuff like that. It was like when you think about it, it's weird because they're now so high. You see them on TV and stuff like that. It's like it's crazy when you see them so young, running around with the ball, and like you just see like they now they don't lose the ball, do they? When you see them now, but like back
not
then,
against us, that's for sure.
Yeah, literally. But not like back then, obviously the mistakes they were making mistakes on the pitch. But now, like they don't really make many mistakes, so it's crazy. Literally,
it's Kyle,
inspiring.
It is, and you know, I know you're. Are you 19? You're 19, right, Kyle?
I'm 20.
Okay, you're 20, and you're finding your way into the game, and you know, you were at City. You kind of know a lot of the club, and your brother was the same, and you know a lot of the players there, and everything that's happened. I went on Sky Sports this morning and defended the club and really stood behind us to try and get a result out of this. But are you utterly shocked that Arsenal did absolutely nothing tonight?
No, I'm not shocked. I've seen the amount of teams that have come to the Etihad this season, and they've been demolished. You know, can't really get a kick of the ball, don't really get any chances. I was surprised about the chances. You didn't really create anything. Like
we didn't. I can't think of a single chance. Okay, so I can't think of a single chance we created and any penetration. I felt like we were on the back foot the whole game. When you're playing as a player, take me into the game, because this is what I say to your dad, right? Take me beyond the white lines. You're at home. You're the team that has the advantage in terms of points. You don't want to give away too much. But when you're playing Manchester City and you have a manager like Pep Guardiola and the talent in that team, I feel like they've schooled us and made us falsely believe where we might be.
Yeah.
And then today it was just like, it's kind of like when you're at the bar with your mate and there's the hot chick and he thinks he's in, but then you're like, no, mate, I've got that.
Not happening. Yeah, like City have got so many players who've been in this situation so many times. Like we've had this team for about 5 years, and literally we've only lost the league once, I'm pretty sure, under Pep, and every single time we've either won it by a country mile or it's gone down to the last day. And literally we always pull through when it matters. Mid-season, we just take it easy. It's like, oh, we can take this easy, because as long as we keep ourselves at arm's length away from the team who's first, then we always come back, because we've got the quality players, you know. And now we've got a striker, makes it even easier to catch teams. And De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, it's quality.
It's beyond. So let me ask you this. So Mikel Arteta has been in the job now 3 a little plus years. We know Pep's been in the job double that, right? And we also know that Pep has been a mastermind of the modern day game at Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester City. They're going for the treble. That looks like it's on like Donkey Kong right now, Kyle. You're a player. Take me into the dressing room when you have a game of this magnitude, right? Even whether you're playing Champions League, Premier League, First Division, Second Division, a big game is a big game, and you have to be committed as a player. I don't think our players were committed. Is that on Mikel, or is that on because your dad would always tell me it's the players? How is it the players aren't engaged in this game, Kyle?
I think it's the manager. Me personally, I think the way you set up, that's not Arsenal, is it? That's not Arsenal. You didn't create a single chance, and we've had teams come to City who are worse than you and who have scored against us. So it doesn't really make much sense. I think he's overthinking it, isn't he? That's what he's.
Tell me how you think he overthought it in this game, because of course the injury to Saliba is massive. It felt like something's wrong with Thomas Partey. I'm sorry, he's not that garbage of a player, Kyle. Talk me through it. Like what's happening?
I think the outside noise is creeping into the dressing room. That's what I think. I think Arteta has never been in this situation before, so he's panicking. He used to play, so he knows what's like to be a player in the dressing room. He's panicking like the other players, I think. And I think Partey, it looks like he doesn't want to be there anymore. Wow. Against Southampton.
You know what that looks like as a player who doesn't really want to be there anymore. What?
It's like a fallout with, I don't know, he doesn't like the player. He may fall out the players, but it looks like he's fallen out of Arteta. Literally, he looks a spitting image of himself. Earlier on in the season, he was a beast. Now, like, what's happening to him, man? It doesn't make any sense.
It's really alarming, isn't it? I said on Sky this morning, Kyle, that if we can keep a clean sheet in the first 15 to 20 minutes, we're in with a shout. And within the first 10 minutes, we let in a goal. Holding, of course, will get the blame for the goal. But do you think Thomas Partey was to blame for the play beforehand? Talk to me through that, especially if you're a striker and you see that play coming. Talk me through it a little bit.
I just think if you're a striker and you see that play coming, you just know like where to be. You know how to affect the game. And Arsenal looks so open. Like, how are you giving De Bruyne that much time on the ball in an area like that where you can just whip it past the keeper? Arsenal just stepped off him. You know what De Bruyne's going to do. If he's got no option, he's going to shoot. And he's good at getting the ball in the back of the net from that range. So it just seemed like Arsenal were like, it just seemed like they were just, rabbits in the headlights. It just seemed like they were like, this is a massive game. Yeah. What are we doing? Yeah.
Kyle, talk to me about this a little bit, because your dad was adamant that Zinchenko should play because he's been such a huge part of our success this season and how we have played. I think with Arsenal, when it comes to certain teams like a City, maybe those kind of super talented attacking teams, right?
Yeah.
That we may not have a plan B or answer for. Yeah. Today, it seemed that the Zinchenko argument that Arsenal fans had was valid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's been such a massive component of our success. We're still top of the league. We still have extra points. But it seems like the players that we've relied on to be the nucleus of our success, Zinchenko, Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, Ben White, they all failed miserably today.
Yeah. I think Zinchenko plays a lot on emotions. I think, especially against his old team, when it's not going Zinchenko's way, it's like he brings himself down, he beats himself up a bit. And I think we all know he's an emotional player, so he just struggles. I think if he's having a bad game, he can't help it. He just goes.
Kyle? Was that how? Was he like that at City? Do you?
Yeah, I do think it was. I think when he makes a mistake, he knows he's made a mistake and he beats himself up for it, and he doesn't let himself try and get back in the game. Whereas, obviously, you get up. It's just how players are. Every player is different. Some players, when they make a mistake, go, "I'm not going to make that mistake again." Whereas Zinchenko, he beats himself up. That's what I think. And I think Jesus is a bit similar. He plays on emotion as well, Jesus. You can see today he was getting himself wound up. For City, I saw that numerous times where he just winds himself up. Or when it's not going his way, he starts kicking people, or he starts getting angry. That's the first time I've seen Arsenal in a situation like that where the players are just...
Yeah, we got a little petulant today, didn't we? And because we were desperate, right? And I felt like we knew from the first 10 minutes that, honestly, I feel like they stepped onto that field the same way they did, not Liverpool. I think the Liverpool game broke us.
Yeah. I agree. Being 2-0 up at Anfield, like, anyone would take that. Literally, in a million years, people will shake your hand off for 2-0 at Anfield, but then it's defending that 2-0 lead. And it's not letting the fans get into the game, and also let the fans get into the game. The players, Liverpool players, love it.
Yeah. Kyle, can you, when you're in that situation as a player, when you've had a run of really good games and then one bad game happens that you knew that you should have won and it kind of broke you, take me into the dressing room. Is that a difficult recovery for a team? Is it dependent on the manager or the players?
I think it's the manager. I think the manager has to know what sort of dressing room he's got. Like, you get managers who do the hair dry treatment. I think that's aged now. I think a lot of players nowadays, if they were to get the hair dry treatment, they'll be like, they'll just get themselves down. Whereas now, I think it's just motivation. I think it's just having good people around you, good friends and family, good teammates, especially, because you can all get through it together. That's what I think. I've seen City. Obviously, we got beat by earlier on the season. Who was it we got beat by? Obviously, we got beat by Liverpool at Anfield.
Mm-hmm.
We should have won that.
You were beaten by Brentford at home. You got Everton got a point, and we got thrashed.
Everton got a point.
This is exactly. You know what? We don't deserve to win the Premier League title, Arsenal fans. I'm sorry. If you want to be in a Premier League title race and you want to be in the game, at least show up. At least show up at the Etihad. I went on national television this morning and I stood up for the team. The manager, the players, the culture, everything. I stood up for it against a Manchester City fan, hoping that we would show up and show something. And look, I still think it's been a great season, Kyle. If it wasn't for Arsenal, who would be challenging Manchester City? Nobody. So Man United fans can come at us. Chelsea fans can come at us. Liverpool fans can come at us. Tottenham fans can come at us. But we're the ones that have been challenging them. But in the end, is the difference experience, having too much youth, and also having a young manager? What is it?
I think it's experience. Literally, I knew we were going to win today. I knew we were going to win. It's just Man City for the mind games from Pep. He's an experienced manager. He knows what to do. The players, they've been there, done it. Like, I'll say about 5-6 of our players were played against Liverpool. Remember the game in the 18-19 season where we beat them 2-1 at Etihad? I'm pretty sure like 5 players have played in that from this game. They know what to do. Arteta's had a good season. like last season, fans wanted him out, which I could possibly see why. You weren't really getting results, but then he's got you so far. But then it's like he's come up against the master now. He's come up against the big dog, which is Pep. And to beat Pep, you have to beat his side at their backyard. And that's what Arsenal didn't do. And also didn't fight to do that. And I think Pep knew that Arsenal weren't going to come to the Etihad and try and win, because I think Pep knew that. I think Pep knows the mentality of the Arsenal squad. I think when you're a manager, you know what squads are like. You know what the players are like. I think he knows. I think when you see Arsenal draw against Liverpool away and Southampton at home and obviously West Ham away, that's when you know they're starting to crumble. That's when you know the mind games come out. And that's when you know the side, it's do or die, really, isn't it? You got to go City and win. A draw is not enough.
Yeah. You know what, Kyle? We even saw that early on in Wenger's tenure at Arsenal, right? The mind games with Ferguson, who had a little bit more experience. We see it when, you know, Jose Mourinho came in and his mind games immediately was, I'm the special one. I think, you know, Mikel Arteta has convinced all of us Arsenal fans that he is the guy, and he's changed everything. I think after 3.5 years, Kyle, we were expecting maybe that mental fight would have evolved, but it hasn't. It hasn't since the semi-final in the Europa League against Emery. It hasn't happened since trying to fight for fourth last season. And this year, it's not over yet, because mathematically we're still in it, of course. But it seems like here we are again. You're in a dressing room, you're with players and with managers. When you're faced with challenges and superior opponents, talk me through that a little bit in terms of what you think was happening in the dressing room, especially as you know Manchester City, because you grew up in that system there.
I think Arsenal need more experience in that dressing room. I think when you look at Arsenal's team, apart from Jorginho, I can't really think of anyone who's won a major trophy, a Premier League or a Champions League.
Jorginho, Tierney, of course, with Celtic, Jesus and Zinchenko with Manchester City, right?
Zinchenko, Mm-hmm. And the rest of the squad, it's
pretty naive.
I think I think what Pep got in when City were in a rebuild system, when Pep first came in, he got in play. I think Pep's Pep, he knew what players were the ones to get. And obviously, he's got the deepest pockets in the league, let's face it. So he can buy anyone he wants. Like Arsenal can't buy anyone they want. So
let me ask you this, Carl. You're a Man City fan. You have been also. I don't know how your dad let this happen, by the way. I'm just saying. We're going to give him... You know what? He might get a red card for this, by the way, your dad. He's going to get a red, okay? But, of course, I know you and Ty grew up in the Man City system. So let's talk about this, right? So Aaron Ramsdale comes off a horrific game against Southampton. I felt like he hasn't recovered from that. I said to your dad, like a few months ago, December, January time, if we don't have it here, and I know that he's talked to you boys about here, if we don't have it here, we can't have it here, because here we know we can beat anyone, and we have all season. And once again, opposing fans and everyone that's come at us is saying, we're going to choke, we're going to bottle it. I don't think we've choked and bottled it because we're in a position that we never thought we would be in. But once you're in the position, I can understand people saying that.
Yeah. I think, I do agree. I think Ramsdale made some good saves. He did. He kept Haaland out, but then Haaland obviously scored last kick of the game. But
he took his L'Oreal. He did the whole freaking L'Oreal thing.
You just knew he was going to score when he did that, didn't you? But I think you can tell he's not the same, Ramsdale. He's not the same.
Yeah, since that, right? Let's do some play ratings, Kyle. Let's do some play ratings, okay? So let's go to Ramsdale. What did you think about the opening goal within the first 10 minutes? Was it Thomas Partey's fault? Was it Holding's fault? Because I felt Ramsdale was put in an improbable situation.
I think Partey. I think Partey should be. It's his job to defend the back four. So why are you giving De Bruyne? Why are you letting De Bruyne run through and whip it past Ramsdale? I don't know. He either looks injured or unfit, or he don't want to be there, Partey. And I think he don't want to be there. But
yeah, there's something not right about that, is there?
There isn't. But it's a hard save. I think fans can go, we should be saving that, but at the same time, though.
No, I thought it was a beautiful. Listen, you know better than I do. You and your brother and your dad know better than I do. I thought that was a beautiful finish, but at the same time, when I looked at it on replay, I'm like, wow, could he have got to that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking to myself. I thought, could he got to that? But De Bruyne's used to them finishes when he whips it low and hard past the keeper, so he's not. I don't think he's going to save that. The second one, obviously, it was VAR, wasn't it? But I don't think anyone saved. I don't think he's going to save that.
No, that was
literally.
Yeah,
he's not going to save that.
Yeah.
De Bruyne's third one, again, literally, he's basically in the 6-yard box, really, isn't it?
It was very easy.
Sort of near that. Yeah, literally, he just low and hard past him. Then obviously, I think Haaland's one he should have saved. I think he should have saved that.
Yeah. What did you think of Ben White tonight, Kyle?
I think he was. You know what? He tried, but he's just it didn't go his way. Literally, I think.
Let me ask you it a different way, because we've been talking about this a lot, right? So has Ben's game changed? Has G6 changed? You know, because Saliba's not in. Are they underperforming because he's not there? And as a team player, can you really say, "Oh, we suck because one player is not in the team"?
I think Saliba's a ball-playing centre back, and he can break lines. And Gabriel can't break lines to the extent that Saliba can do. So I think Saliba takes the pressure off Ben White and Gabriel. You could say that. But then at the same time, though, you still got to defend. Players get injured. It's part and parcel of football, isn't it? So you still got to do your job. And you still got to defend. You've got to put your life on the line and defend. It was Ben White's fault for the second goal as well. He played him on. So Ben White, I think he struggled. I think he struggled today. It's not a good game for him.
No, he did. I agree. I think everyone struggled. If I'm giving play ratings, Ramsdale gets, I don't know, 5. White gets a 5. I mean, it's just been poor all around since the second half of Liverpool, Kyle. And I don't think we've recovered. Is that possible? Do you have a bad game as a player and then it just seeps in and it doesn't go away? Does it permeate? Is it there in the dressing room?
I think when you're at the level that them players are playing at, where literally everyone is on them, they're top of the league. You feel the pressure when you're top of the league, especially in the Premier League. Obviously, I haven't played in the Prem, but it's the biggest league in Europe or in the world. You're going to feel pressure when you're top of the league. And when you're going to Anfield away, or Liverpool ways, and when you're 2-0 up and when you draw 2-2, and to be fair, Liverpool should have won, then as I said, the outside noise starts creeping in, and then the pressure starts coming, because it must be hard being 2-0 up and then drawing 2-2 at Liverpool away when it was in your hands.
You know how I feel, if I'm being honest. I feel like I have defended the team since Liverpool and the following game and the next game and today's game. And I feel like they've made a fool out of me. I feel like I've backed them and I've supported them, Kyle, and I've stood by them in every regard. And I feel like they've made a bit of a fall out of me and also a fall out of some of Arsenal fans. I find it hard to comprehend how they never showed up at all today. At all.
Yeah.
How does that happen in professional football?
I literally do not get it. I've seen teams come City and rip us apart for the first half, and then we come out and just steamroll them. I think the only way of beating City at City, I think everyone knows this, but it's so hard to do, is sit back and counter-attack. I think if you try to play City at their own game, you're not going to beat them either.
No, you're not. But you know what I would have preferred? I would have preferred Mikel Arteta approached it like a cup final when we beat them, like a cup game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I felt like we would go into this with some fight and acting like a cup team, because before last season, we've been a cup team for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
We haven't been a Premier League team.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd go in this with a one-off vibe fight, and it never happened.
I just think that, have you ever seen a team go to City and outplay them? The way Arsenal plays is possession-based football.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a team go to City and outplay them. When Real Madrid came to us in the Champions League last season, they sat back and they just counter-attacked, and they lost 4-3, but that result saved them because they made them go through in the end. I think the only way to beat City at City is counter-attacking. Literally. That's what I think. Especially at City, you have to counter-attack them, because if not, they're just going to pass the ball around you, literally.
All right, Kyle. So let's say you're in a dressing room with your teammates and you're one of the main players, right? And which you are, and there's 2 or 3 others. And you're on the pitch and you might be fighting, or maybe not, but your teammates aren't. What's that vibe like? Like, is it the stranglehold of the opposition? Is it the intensity of the moment? This is the part that I don't understand. Help me understand it.
I just think it's belief.
Did we stop believing? Did we stop believing?
Yeah, I think you did. I think you stopped believing. I think the Southampton game was
the one that finally broke us.
Yeah, I do. If you won that game, I do think you would have come to City and given us a better game than you did.
But we were playing for a 0-0 or a 1-1, weren't we?
Yeah, I don't know what you were doing today, but that's not the Arsenal I've seen. I think the best Arsenal performance I've seen this season was Fulham away. When literally I was looking around, I was looking at TV, and I was like, this side, they're going to win the league. I was like, you didn't
we've had a few like that, Kyle. To be fair, we've had a few like that. This Tottenham, Liverpool. We got 4 points out of Tottenham, 4 points out of Liverpool, 6 points out of Tottenham. The home game against Man United. I mean, we've had some incredible performances. And I always said, especially to Super Kev, I was saying, we're going to win and lose this on mental. What we're going to be like this time, the same time of last season. And when there's no evolution there, you have to ask, like, have we not put enough experienced players into the team, Kyle? Or is the manager also still growing and learning? Because here's the thing. 2008, Manchester City get the new owners, right? 2011 is when they win their first Premier League. I don't understand why also people are shitting on Arsenal for where we're at right now, considering where we've come from. So there's no forgiveness in terms of the path that City took versus the path that we're taking. Manchester United have spent how much money? You know, Tottenham have spent how much money, have done nothing. Chelsea have spent how much money, have done nothing. But yet everybody wants to shit on Arsenal and say we've bottled it and we've choked. Why?
Yeah. I think with Arsenal, I think because your fan base is it's
so amazing.
In the media a lot. It's in the media a lot, right? I think AFTV, like channels like that, I think people, when they see fans reacting to losses, people always jump on it and when you lose, people can't wait to see the downfall of Arsenal. I think that comes into it a bit, but all at the same time, when you haven't won a Premier League for so long, I think fans don't really want you to win it.
Do you think they did that to Liverpool after 30 years the same way they did to us? Because I felt like they got more forgiveness than we did. And maybe that's because we're the only team with a gold trophy who've gone invincible. I don't know, but I feel like Liverpool got an easier ride 30 years versus our 20-year. I feel people are really dumping on Arsenal and they want to see us fail.
I think there's jealousy behind Arsenal because people always say the Invincibles. And obviously, you went unbeaten the whole season. So people don't want to see you win the league again. I think, but Liverpool was behind closed doors. So the fans weren't even there to see them lift it in person. So I think people were just like, no, you can take it. You can take. That's what I think. I think when fans are back in the stadium now, people got a real like passion for it again. People, and obviously at the same time, people. I don't think people want to see Arsenal win it. I don't. I think people would rather. The amount of fans that said to me,
why would they want to see Manchester City, a manufactured team, versus a home like I don't understand it. Like everyone that Manchester City, I know it's your squad, but your team, but you've been questioned financially. Have you done business?
Yeah.
I don't understand how City have spent so much money and got away with FFP. And people would rather see them win over Arsenal, who've tried to do it the right way. I just don't get it. All of a sudden, Manchester City are this beacon of hope and this shining light in English football. And everyone's like, oh, they're so majestic. And so I just don't understand it. I don't get the hate. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand it as well. I think it's just people were saying at the start of the season, obviously, the elephant's at the top of the tree. It's only a matter of time till he falls. And everyone starts jumping on it. People see Arsenal as a banter club, don't they?
But how can they see us as a banter club after last season and this season and the fact that Arteta's won an FA Cup?
Literally, I do not. I think it's the fans. I think some of the reactions on AFTV, and then a fan will go and say one thing, and then you get beat the next week. And then all of a sudden, fans are like, "Oh, like, are they taking it seriously?" If that makes sense. Oh, yeah, like it's a joke club. If that makes sense.
Here's the scoop. Here's the scoop. I don't think we've been a joke club this season. I don't think we were a joke club last season. I really don't. I think that's a stigma, and stigmas are alive and well because of narratives that consistently permeate, even though something may have evolved from whatever the stigma was that created it, right? And I think Arsenal have done a very, very good job of evolving themselves from that stigma. If it wasn't for Arsenal Football Club, Kyle, this would be the most boring Premier League title race ever. Agree?
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
right?
It would.
So I don't understand why people are happy to see us fail against City when we're the ones who are fighting the beast with all the money and everything. Even as a City fan, can you see that?
I think it's because I think you were aiming for the Premier League. You got yourself knocked out of the Carabao Cup. You got knocked out of the FA Cup, and you got yourself knocked out of the Europa League. I think fans thought, "Are you getting complacent, or are you just focusing on the league? Are you looking for the league title?" And then fans are like, obviously see them, and then they see you doing well, and then they think to themselves, "Oh, it'd be so funny if they don't even win the league in the end." And I don't think it's looking tight now, because if you don't win the league, is this a good season? You've got yourself knocked out of all the cups where you could have potentially got to a Europa League final and won it and lost the league. You're good enough to get to Europa League final and compete for the league. So I don't get why you didn't do that. I think fans look at that and go, is that complacency?
Here's the scoop. And I'm going to say this to you. I think that this season, for me, I have stuck with the team and I continue to stick with the team. But I am now officially asking questions. And I think it's warranted as a fan. Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton, Manchester City.
Yeah.
The Manchester City game, to show up against the team that you're fighting for the title and not show up at all. I'm sorry. What type of preparation have you had in the week to show up and not put anything into that? What have you done in the week? What is your preparation? Now I'm asking questions. I wasn't asking questions, Kyle, about the football part of it, but I'm asking questions here. And this is what I've questioned the most. You know, like how does a team that has been so prolific, so amazing, that has evolved mentally from scoring own goals like Saliba in a game and the fans get behind them. How is it possible that, you know, Gabriel makes a mistake against Fulham and Mitrovic scores and he comes back and he scores the winning goal? Where is that Arsenal in this last part of the season? And the mental impotence of this team continues because when the super spotlight is on them, they're still not ready for the moment.
Yeah.
Is that fair or foul?
I think that's fair. I don't think they're ready yet, Arsenal. I don't think they're ready yet. I think next season you could challenge, but sometimes these sort of games can actually damage the team. And
tell me why. How? In what way do you think?
They can make you stop believing. They can make you think we got so far. We won all these games. We won all these games last minute, like Bournemouth home. We've done so well. We got a point at Anfield, stuff like that. But then it gets taken away from you. Can you get yourself back in that situation? And can you go through that again? You have to like, you may be in the same situation again next season and you may lose it again. Have the players got it in them to go again the season after that?
I think we need more experience. To be honest with you, Casey, I think we need more experience. I don't think we have enough balance in the team for that. I think Thomas Partey is, you know, he's been amazing all season, but the last few games, if he's going to be an injury-prone player that we can't rely on, we've got to replace that. We need a centre-back. We need a right-back. We need a left-back. We may even need a striker. So I think what it underlines for Arsenal is when you come up against a Manchester City, you can beat Tottenham, you can beat Chelsea, you can beat Liverpool, you can do all those things, but the juggernaut is still Manchester City. How are you going to do that? How are you going to beat them? And this was the best chance for us to win the league. Now, is it over? Is it over?
I'll be very surprised if you were to come back and, let's say, put City off balance. I think City will win the 2 games in hand. I think we'll go Brighton away and win.
Let me ask you this, Kyle, with this. I've got to throw this question up for you and get your questions in. You know what? Play ratings. Here's what I'm going to do. Everyone gets a 3. Done. Because let me tell you something. I showed up to defend my team. They didn't show up to defend themselves or us today. They were an embarrassment and they were a shambles. And tomorrow morning, guess what I have to do? I've got to go on Sky Sports and talk about this with a Manchester City person. And here's the scoop. There is no shame in losing to superior opposition. Kyle, you've been there as a player. Is there are just some times you come up against a team that is better than you. And this season, they're the team that's better than us. They've proven it at our gaff and their gaff. Whether they lost at home to Brentford, whether they drew to Everton, I don't know what's wrong with us to not be able to get anything out of them. But they are here and we're still here.
Yeah, the difference with City is they win the games that matter, where Arsenal don't win the games that matter. Like, you've got to. I get Liverpool away is hard. You've got a point there, but then you got to beat West Ham away. You've got to beat Southampton home. They're the games that matter, because then you go into the City game 5 points clear, 7 points clear, whatever it was at the start. But now you go into the City game. What was it? Was it 5 points clear? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then obviously it's 2 points now. If you beat West Ham, Southampton, it's a completely different story.
And I think that we got 4 points out of Liverpool, which I think you would even admit is great for any club in a season to get 4 points out
100%.
of Liverpool. You win home, you get a point away. The thing that killed us last season was we lost to Brighton, we lost to Southampton, we lost to Crystal Palace, we lost to Newcastle, and we're here again. It's happened. I mean, we've lost to City, but the draws have killed us. And going into this with zero confidence, with a team that's young and mentally still evolving and growing.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Kyle. When you've worked with coaches, whether it's at youth level, whether it's now where you're at in the team you're at, Mikel's been there for 3 years.
Right.
Should he have evolved? You lose a semi-final to Emery, the man you replaced in the Europa League. You miss out on top 4 last season. And now it may look like we may miss out on the potential of winning the Premier League. Do you start questioning if he's a closer?
By closer, do you mean like, is he the right manager? Is that what you mean?
I mean, like, he gets it to a certain point, but when it's required to close the deal, win more games and button it up and bring it home, there's something that fails at the last hurdle.
I just don't think he's got the right players yet. He needs a goal scorer. Jesus is not a goal scorer. That's one thing. Jesus is not going to get you goals. Well, he's not going to get you enough anyway. I think you should have got Vlahovic. I think he can't play for the players. In the big games, he can't play for them. He puts out the team he thinks is the best side, and they play. So yeah, you could say that, but at the same time, I think he needs more experience. It goes down to experience. Today was men versus boys. It really was literally.
It really was
them, literally, and also had good spells, and yet didn't do anything.
Nope. James Johnson here wants to hire you for Dagenham. Evening, Soph and Kyle. Kyle, are you still playing non-league? If so, Dagenham need a striker. You're taken, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
I love that. Maybe. Brilliant stuff, JJ. Also, they're saying, hey, Arsenal do need a striker. It's true. Yeah. How much do you put down today to the players versus the manager?
I think you put down, I think 40% the manager. I think 60 the players. The manager, yeah, what he said at half time, they still came out and were exactly the same side.
Yeah, we weren't any different, were we?
You brought on Trossard early. I think Trossard now has to start striker. Now, I think Jesus has had his chance. He's not scoring.
But he scored 4 goals in his first 4 games back. He came back and he scored. He missed 2 sitters in the last game and he didn't score today. But I hear what you're saying. When Martinelli and Trossard were playing together, they were like, very prolific.
Yes,
they were very in sync, right? It was working. But go on.
I think you need a striker who scores in the key moments. Obviously, Jesus was at City, and he never. The amount of times I saw him in key situations miss chances, and I was like, "What's he doing?" Now we've got Haaland away in Munich. He scores that chance, sends us through. He scores against Bayern at home. He scores against who else? He scored against. Obviously, United at home. He scored a hat trick. Would Jesus have done that for City? No, that's the difference in strikers. Haaland is a clinical goal scorer. Jesus, he's not clinical. Jesus didn't even look like scoring today.
No, he didn't. But he wasn't. Let's be fair. Let's be fair, Carl. He was not given any chances today. There was no feeding. He wasn't given any chances.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
There was no service, and I thought Odegaard was poor as well with the service. He's been poor for the past few games. I think Odegaard.
He was not good tonight, and it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best at all. Okay, so I gave everyone a 3. Do you want to? Do you have any different scores for White or G6 or Zenny or Xhaka or Odegaard or Martinelli? Do you have anyone in this Arsenal team that you can present to me, Saka, anyone that deserves more than what I'm suggesting they have?
I think
I'm so I can't begin to tell you honestly how utterly bummed I am that the biggest game of the season, where the Premier League title is on the line, and our team didn't show up. This is one of the worst away performances I've seen all season. We shit the bed, we choked, we bottled it. Call it what you want. I've defended you, and now I'm saying it today. And Southampton, you choked and you bottled it.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it.
True. I think also let themselves down today in terms of also letting the City players wind them up. Xhaka was getting wound up. Obviously, like when he put his arm on Grealish, Grealish is rattling him.
He's had a really good second half of the season, Grealish. Let's be fair. Yeah. He really has.
Rattled. Thomas Partey, he was getting angry as well. I think when you see your players on your team when you're getting beat, when you see them fighting and getting annoyed, that's when you start giving up as well. That's what I find. When I'm in a big game, if we're getting battered and I see my players start fighting, that's when you know the players' heads aren't in the game anymore. Their heads are back in London. Can I angry?
Yeah, can I say I don't think we were in that game ever. Yeah. I don't feel like we've been in any game since Liverpool. And I believe that it's okay to question what the manager has done to help that mental journey from Liverpool to here. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah. I think that's fair. I do think it's fair, but at the same time though, I think you've got to be winning. They must win games though, aren't they? Towards the end of the season, you've got to win every game, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, these are the games. You can't draw at Liverpool. You can't draw at West Ham. You can't draw to Southampton. You can't lose 4-1 to Man City and then go on and expect to win the league. Maybe by miracle, those points, they've got 2 games in hand now. It's almost impossible. And once again, Pep Guardiola shows why he is the best manager in football. And it also kind of grates on me that we could have had him at some point. Zinchenko, once again, I was on Sky Sports today and someone accused me of having emotion. You're a woman. You're coming from too emotional, right? When I'm talking about passionately about my team, but yet Zinchenko, too emotional. Jesus, too emotional. What? I just don't understand how we've been the way we have all season, and it gets to six games, Kyle, 6. And you can't keep it together.
Yeah, today the emotions got the better of Arsenal. You can obviously see by that. You could say Arsenal went out there in the second half against West Ham, second half against Liverpool, and obviously when Southampton were 3-1 up at Emirates. It's like they beat themselves down in a way.
I didn't see any leadership on the pitch tonight. Yeah. I didn't see anyone geeing anyone up. I didn't see anyone saying, we got this, let's go. In the Southampton game when we went 2-0 down and Zinchenko grabbed everyone and everyone's criticizing the huddle and stuff like that. Listen, I don't know what's going on, but something mentally has to be fixed because that's not right.
Yeah. It's not right. It seems like it's too much for the players. Because they've never been in a situation before, it seems like they haven't got a clue how to react in the situation they're in. When they go 2-0 down or when they go 2-0 up, they're like, right, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Do we keep on getting goals? Arteta shouting, sit back, for example, and the players are like, but we didn't sit back earlier on, for example. We just went out there and tried to score as many goals as possible. But now we've got to sit back, and now it's crunch time for the players. The players are like, oh no, the players have to win games. And also the badge is a big badge. The pressure of the badge is affecting these players as well. You can tell.
Yeah, definitely. John Mavrodis, Yasutiganis Galaise, we won't finish lower than second. Perspective, please. It's not about that, John. It's not. It's about turning up in games and being mentally engaged. You know, second half of Liverpool, Southampton, West Ham. We didn't even show up today. We did nothing. We were garbage. I'm going to go out on record and say, in the biggest game of our lives, we had the worst game of the season. That's my opinion. I am going to tell it like it is on Sky. What am I going to do? I can't sugarcoat this. What am I going to say? It is not. I think also Arteta, Kyle, your dad was really against removing Holding from the situation and trying to put maybe Zinchenko at right, Zinny at left, and put Ben White back in the middle. Would that have made any difference today, do you think?
I don't think so. I think City's attack is just too good. Literally. That's why I said earlier on, I think you've got to sit back against City. Literally. But I think, yeah, you can say that. Obviously, people were saying put Ben White centre back, weren't they?
Yeah.
And play Tierney and Zinchenko fullbacks. You can. I think you can say that, but at the same time, though, City are always gonna be a goal for it against you at Etihad.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know what much else there is to say. Aki wasn't even playing. I felt like Trossard. I don't know, the momentum of Trossard and Jorginho from the January transfer window seems to have completely evaporated. We didn't do well handling this guy. Rob Holding, I feel like, was set up to fail. We never had any of this stuff in terms of penetration and the two of them. Rob Holding got a goal. You know what? Rob Holding gets a goal for me. He played better than everybody else, even though people will say he was the mistake with Haaland. I think the play before him, he's the scapegoat, but I think it's very unfair to point the finger at him. Where was Thomas Partey? Where was Xhaka? Where was Saka? Where was Gabriel Jesus? Where was Martinelli? Where was Zinchenko? Where were all these players? You can keep pointing the finger at Rob Holding because it's very, very easy. You can be upset about Saliba not being in the team, but don't attack Rob Holding because it's not his fault that we have been absolute garbage for the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I do agree.
Kyle, what's your parting shot for everybody? We always give someone a closing statement before they come out. I'm not doing the play ratings because they don't deserve any. What do you think? What's going to happen for the rest of the season? How do you see this shaking out?
I see Arsenal dropping points from here. I think next game, I think you drop points again. I do think you'll finish second.
Because they're going to announce Pochettino before the Chelsea game, and they're going to get the new manager bounce and the Spurs manager that used to beat us all the time.
I can see it happening. Literally, I think the Arsenal players. I think the Arsenal players got to stick together. I do, because I think City will win the league now. I think we will. Will be. Who have we got on? We've got Fulham away Sunday. I think we'll go there and steamroll them. It'll be 2-3-0. Then obviously, I don't know who we got after.
It's really weird having a Campbell on here talking about we when they're talking about City. I've got to say, Kyle, I can't get my head around it.
I just can't see us losing. I think the only points we will drop is possibly Everton away. Possibly. I think Brighton away, they got beaten at 3-1 by Forest.
Which was shocking, by the way.
Shocking. So
yeah. But they're coming off that disappointing FA Cup game, aren't they?
That's true. Yeah. I think that's where you're blessing disguise for City fans. But
Kyle, look at these comments. We'll beat Chelsea easy. Don't be crazy. Have you watched the last 4 games? Don't tell me I'm crazy. You're freaking crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Chelsea will win that game. We'll win 2 games for the rest of the season. We're finished. We're done. We're over. We're done. We're toast. Mentally, we're finished. And they're putting their towels out on the beach already, Kyle.
Yeah. Chelsea's only win this season under Lampard would not surprise me if they went to Emirates and won. It would not surprise me in the slightest. Like, literally, new manager bounce. or it could be new manager bounce. It could be anything, but I can see it happening. I don't know why. It's just Chelsea. Didn't Chelsea win at Emirates last season? Was it Lukaku scored? Wasn't it? And Reece James.
We've done really well against Chelsea actually at the Bridge and in the Cup, and since Mourinho has not been manager of Chelsea, we've done a lot better, especially when Conte was manager. But yeah, we've fared quite well against them, and I fancied it, but I do not fancy it if there's a new manager thing and Pochettino comes in. No, and I really do feel like I would be amazed if Mikel can pull this off with the team right now, considering we've lost our edge in the whole battle. So, thanks, Tony. Tony says it's a good point. Kyle, what's your closing? What's your closing? I give everyone the opportunity to have their closing statement before we leave the show. By the way, you've made an amazing debut, and I think your dad should be very scared about next season, just like some Arsenal players should be very scared about next season.
Yeah, it's true. My closing statement is, I think stick together. Times may be tough now, but you'll always come out together in the end. And you got to go game by game. It doesn't mean City's going to win every game.
How did your dad let you become a Man City fan? I don't know, because my dad is a Man United fan and I'm an Arsenal fan. I guess because you've been there since you were a kid, you love it, right? And you fell in love with it.
Yeah, I did.
Is it impressive, Kyle? Talk to everyone a little bit about City and the setup there and what that experience is like.
It's a good setup, obviously get good players. I don't think enough players come through the actual youth system. I think that needs to be improved. But I think in general, it's obviously a good club. We just need the Champions League. That's what I said. I'd rather the Champions League over the Premier League this season. But if we're going to get both, I'm not going to complain. But
well, if you get both, you'll end up with a treble, which is incredible, and then you can rival Manchester United, huh?
It's definitely got final I'm worried about because it's a derby. I think form goes out the window, especially at Wembley as well.
Yeah, Abel, I got all of the 20 messages you've put that my head belongs in the head in the Sangooners Brigade. I got your message, all 35 of them. Thank you so much. Maybe you belong in the Spurs head forum, Well, at least we're challenging and we're fighting. So there you go, Abel. I don't know what your brother Kane is doing, but that's that. Kyle, let everyone know where they can find you.
They can find me on Instagram at Kyle Trey Campbell.
Yeah, love it. And Trey is spelled Trey, everyone. So Kyle and Trey Trey. And Campbell spelled exactly like the legends. Tell us a secret about your dad before we go.
A secret about my dad.
He would hate that I even asked that question, and you should not answer it at all, right? Tell us why he's so amazing, though.
Yeah. He puts an unlimited amount of hot sauce on his food. Literally. He'll have it and literally just pour it. Pour it. It just all comes out. He doesn't even care. He's talking to you whilst he's saying it, and it's just pouring out. And literally turns off.
Oh my God, I love this.
He's just not bothered. He looks at it and goes,
"This is better than the game."
He puts more on. He's like, "Okay, it's fine." He's got his tissue for the sweaty head.
How's Ty doing? Everything good going over there? He's smashing it at Stoke this season, right?
Yeah, he's doing well at Stoke. He's doing well. He's one goal off 10 goals. So hopefully he can get that before the end of the season. Great. He's got 2 games left. So let's hope he gets that.
Brilliant. Do you want to come back more often and do shows with us here?
Yeah.
All right, 100%. Awesome.
I'll do that.
Because, you know, when you're done with your amazing playing career, you can go into media like your dad. And Highbury Squad is a great training ground to do that. Yeah?
Yeah, I'll do that
Okay.
100%.
All right, awesome.
Sounds
okay,
good.
so we'll regroup. Now, Hot Sauce Super Kev, you're getting all the hot soup. Your dad, I don't know how he's going to feel about that. But he'll tell us on Monday anyway. You know, your dad takes us out. So you got to leave everyone with, not Saliba, because he's not your dad. But you got to leave us with the message now. Everyone's probably thinking, why aren't you going crazy? This is the Man City game. What do you want me to do? We lost. I got nothing left to give, Arsenal. I'm sorry, I don't. This is 5 games left in the season. I'm done. I'm spent. I've given you everything. We've gone live shows. We've supported the team. We've stood by them. We've done everything, and we will continue to do that to the end of the season. But in terms of tonight, I'd rather talk about hot sauce. That's the truth. So, Kyle, you will take us out the same way your dad does. Tell the Arsenal fans, what is the silver lining? You leave the end message.
So, I think it's stay strong. Keep supporting the club like you've been supporting all your life. Every team has bad games. This is a learning curve for Arsenal. You'll be back stronger next season. You compete against the big dogs again next season. Get some more signings in. And just stay positive. Back the players, back the team, back the club. And I've got no doubt that you have a good season next season. And you push on exactly the same as you did this season. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good. I hope you lose the Champions League. Okay, is that fair?
No.
Does that mean?
It's coming to Manchester, the treble.
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to go hide. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us today. An excellent debut on the Highbury Squad. You absolutely smashed it. He's going to come back, and he's going to be back before the end of the season. I'm going to guarantee that. Thank you, Gooners. Stay strong. You know what? It's okay. It's not over yet. It's actually not over yet. So there's still hope, but it's diminished by a long, long way. Kyle, thanks for joining me this evening. And Gooners,
Thanks, guys.
Take care. And as Super Kev would say, at ease, everyone. At ease.
At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. And wait, we're not gone yet. Tony put